What's good, everybody? I'm here and welcome to another tier list video. Today I am bringing you the most accurate fighting type Pokemon tier list. If you know what's going on, basically a while ago I did a tier list video titled the most accurate typing tier list. Now I got a little bit of a mini series going on covering all of Pokemon typings, starting from my least favorite, going all the way to my favorite Pokemon typing. And today, we got fighting. And if you're new to the tier list series in general, as always, the sorting goes as so. We have goated, stupid good, okay, meh, and trash. Now, I do have one more, just like in the previous video with bug types. I had to add not fighting, what the fuck, just like I had to add not bug, what the fuck, because there are some Pokemon that aren't naturally fighting type. They are naturally normal type, and they are gained a fighting type via a special item, so they don't count. I'm not counting them. The Arceus and Savali, they don't count as fighting types. You can make them fighting types, but they're naturally normal. That's why they're there. And yeah, we got all the fighting Pokemon plus different forms, such as Gmax, Machamp here, Mega Medicham, Mega Lucario, and some Galarian forms, such as Galarian Zapdos. So without further ado, let's get into the tier list. Starting with an OG fighting type, Mankey. I like Mankey. Mankey's good. Mankey's a good, fighting type. He's not like inherently strong, but I like the fact that he's just a crazy monkey thing that just likes to punch things. It's just so feral, and it depicts like actual like animals, like Pokemon to an extent are sentient. This thing is just crazy. It's a crazy monkey. That's how monkeys are in the wild. They're just crazy. I love Primeape. I love this thing. I love Primeape. I like Primeape. It's almost to the point where Primeape is I like Primeape better than Machamp. I'm gonna get to Machamp in a minute, but I like Primeape almost more than Machamp. Machamp is like a little bit in the lead, but Primeape is such a cool mon. I think with fighting types, you can't really say a lot of them's moveset is diverse, because fighting types generally all do the same thing. They punch really hard. That's what they're meant to do. They just hit things really, really hard. Unless they're dual typing, they don't really have a lot of coverage. But he's good at what he does, just punching really hard. Machop itself is in meh. Machop is in meh. It gets better, don't get me wrong. If I'm playing a game and I see a Machop and I want to use a Machamp or I need a fighting type, I will 100% use it. It's not that Machop is a bad Pokemon. Just in the grand scheme of fighting type Pokemon, it's not really up to par. It can hit hard early game, great early game on, but in a lot of the games you get like in the midpoint to where you're not quite where you need to be with the Machop. You need to get him up a little bit. You know what I mean? I really like Machoke. Like, I don't know why. Machoke is one of those mid-range Pokemon where it's like I almost like it better than the final evolution. And one thing about Machoke is like those little things on his arms. I don't know if anyone noticed this, though. That's his veins just poking out. Like, I don't know if it's his veins or it's like where his muscles are so big that his skin tore. Because you can tear your skin with your muscles being so big. That's a thing. And I forget if it's like the veins or if it's where his skin's torn. But he's that strong. And this is where he gains the belt. With Machop doesn't have the belt yet, but Machoke's and Machamps, that belt restrains their strength. If they take off that belt for any reason, you need to run. Like, I want to see in the Pokemon lore, I want to see in a Pokemon movie, anime, something, where we see what happens when a Machamp takes off the belt. That's what I want to see. Speaking of Machamp's stupid good. Machamp is just one of those fighting type Pokemon to where it's like, it's never a bad choice. If it can attack, like, don't get me wrong, it is a bad choice for some stuff, like with Fairy and Psychic. But like, if you're facing a Pokemon and it has a move that can punch it, it's never a bad choice. Yes, some Pokemon resist, like Poison. I think Ghost is immune to fighting. But this thing gets moves that can attack it. Like, this thing gets, what is it? It has Cross Arm, which is Dragon, if I'm not mistaken. So that touches nearly everything. It gets Bullet Punch, if I'm not mistaken. So it does have some coverage against fairies if you had to. It gets Throat Chop, if I'm not mistaken, which gives you coverage against Ghost type. It's just it's such a good fighting type. I really like Machamp. Gmax Machamp is a bit much, in my opinion. I feel like Machamp finally got a form, and he is long overdue for something like this. They should have kept Megas and given him a Mega, honestly. They should have kept Megas rolling out and then like have something like G-Max is like a little gimmicky thing like Z-Crystals were. But I understand why it did this with Machamp. Machamp was long overdue for something like this. There's a bunch of Pokemon that need stuff like this that don't get it. Machamp was one of them. He got this. But unfortunately, unless they just decide to put every gimmick that they've ever done in Gen 9, it's looking like Machamp's G-Max form is going to stick to just a strictly Gen 8 thing, which in my opinion is necessarily not a bad thing. We don't need G-Maxes in Gen 9. We bring back Megas, keep G-Maxes there. It's just the design itself is a bit much. It's well earned and well overdue, but design for it is a bit much. Galarian Farfetch'd. This thing's just okay. I don't think Galarian Farfetch'd was needed. I know why it exists, and we'll touch over why it exists when we get to its evolution. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't think this thing needed to exist. I think you can just stick with regular Farfetch'd and give it an evolution, but the designs match better. And I feel like they just kind of made this thing to fill in a Pokédex slot. Like, oh yeah, we need one more Pokemon. We got the evolution. Let's just fuck it. Let's just make the Farfetch'd Galarian. I feel like that's what happened. Not really needed, but I understand why it's here. Hitmonlee, I really like. I really like Hitmonlee. The Hitmon line, I like to an extent. The first two are goated. We'll get to him on chat in a second. Hitmonlee is my favorite of the two. I don't know why. He's just different looking. You know what I mean? Like, there's something about him that I really like. I couldn't explain why. Just whenever in between Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee growing up, I always like Hitmonlee. I want that. I want to use that. I didn't get to play Red and Blue growing up. My first game was Ruby and Sapphire, so I couldn't really get him. But my buddy had Fire Red and Leaf Green, and he got Hitmonlee. He was able to get both somehow. I think he hacked one of them in. But like, I traded him my Groudon for it because I just wanted this thing so bad. I really like Hitmonlee. Hitmonchan is just in the same boat. Stupid good. They're both iconic Pokemon. You get to pick one or the other in Red and Blue. My favorite is Hitmonlee, but Hitmonchan is also a really good choice. It's based off of Jackie Chan. It's a boxer pretty much. It's so cool. I really like this thing. The Hitmonlee, the Hitmon line has like one miss. And we'll talk about him in a minute. But it has one miss. The rest of them you can't go wrong. Galarian Zapdos, I think it's stupid good, but in the lead is stupid good. It was a very interesting concept to have Galarian original variants of legendary Pokemon. Not saying that it was a bad thing, not saying that it didn't need to be needed. I just think it's a very interesting thing that they decided to do. I feel like with legendary Pokemon in lore, very rarely do you see multiples of them. If anything, I think you only get to see one. Like, there's only one in existence. I could be wrong on that. I could be very wrong on that. But the fact that we now know that 2 variants of legendary Pokemon can exist is a very interesting thing to me. So, Galarian Zapdos, I think, is my favorite of the Galarian bird trio. So, I'm going to put him in stupid good. Next, we have Heracross. Heracross is a really good bug type, but in the span of it being a fighting type is okay. Heracross, don't get me wrong, I love Heracross. I love it so much. However, there's a lot of fighting types that I really like, and if it were the case of like only going by like how I like the Pokemon itself, almost everything would be in stupid good or goated. So I'm putting this in the span of like, yes, it is a fighting type, but it's a better bug type than it is a fighting type. I think that it's a really good Pokemon to have, but it's a better bug than fighting, in my opinion. It's not that I don't think this thing shouldn't be fighting. Fighting fits it pretty well. I think it's a better bug type Pokemon to have in your team. Mega Heracross is kind of in the same boat. More so, actually. This thing screams like a perfect blend of fighting and bug. This thing looks like it can fuck you up. But again, I would rather use this as a bug type on my team, like saying like, oh, I have a bug type now, instead of being like, oh, I have a fighting type now. I'll have this thing, I probably won't get a fighting type, I'll probably just stick with Heracross. But I just think it's a better bug type is all. Tyrogue, here's the miss. Here's the miss. Tyrogue does not need to exist. It gets one move, and the way you evolve it is so fucking stupid. It makes sense, but god damn it is it annoying. Because the way you get, so I always get the two confused. One of them I know for a fact. I think it's to get Hitmonlee, you need to have a higher attack stat than defense. To get a Hitmonchan, you need a higher defense stat than an attack. And to get a Hitmontop, you need to have them both be the exact same. So, I would be breeding Tyrogues, trying to complete the Pokedex, and I would level it up. And if I saw that it wasn't the stat that I needed, I'm like, well, there goes that. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's such a pain in the ass to evolve. And it's a shame, because it's a wrestler. I wrestled in high school. I should really like this thing. I wish that they would have more wrestler Pokemon. Not like luchadors or professional wrestlers. Not that those are bad concepts, but actual like Olympic wrestling. That's what I did in high school. I want to see more of that. Tyrogue is like a little kid going into wrestling. But it's just, why? It didn't need to exist, man. You could have just made Hitmontop and you would have been fine. Speaking of which, Hitmontop, I don't like it as much as Hitmonlee or Hitmonchan. I'm being completely honest with you. Hitmontop is the second weakest link. I think this thing was based off of Bruce Jenner before he transitioned into a woman. And the only reason I say that is because like the idol animation for 6th gen and higher, because he was, if I'm not mistaken, he also did like aerobic stuff. So I think that's what he was based off of. But he just kind of didn't need to exist. Tyrogue really didn't need to exist, but this thing also didn't need to exist. But I get why they did it. It's like, oh hey, there's a third Hitmon line. And I think they just made Tyrogue to where like you don't have to pick between one or the other of the three. You can just be like, oh, I picked this one, I breed, and now I get all three. So didn't really need to happen, but I would rather have just these three and have to be like, oh, I have to find the 3 variants, as opposed to like, oh, I can breed a Tyrogue and just pray to God that it's the stats that I need. Makuhita. Makuhita, it's Gen 3, I've always said, does not miss. It does not miss, and that's also true for Makuhita. However, as far as like a fighting type goes, he's okay. His design is good. I really like the design, but he's really slow. He's kind of hard to train when you first get him. He's one of those Pokemon where it's like, I'm gonna deal with this Makuhita to get a Hariyama. Hariyama's goated. I really like this thing. Hariyama is goated. Hariyama, I love this thing so much. I've used Hariyama on multiple occasions. The last time I used him, if I'm not mistaken, was in my Omega Ruby playthrough that I did on my own time when Omega Ruby first came out. Loved it. I loved using Hariyama. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did, but I really enjoyed using Hariyama. He's such a good, he hits like a truck. He's slow as shit, but he tanks hits like a madman. It's insane. He gets like, I think he gets a psychic type move for some reason. I think he gets like some weird psychic type move that you can teach him at the move tutor, like Psyshock or some shit. It's insane. This thing is insane. Metacam. I never really cared for the Metacam line. Metacam is just kind of meh. No, I just said the Gen 3 Dex doesn't miss. And it's not that they're all bad. It's not like they're bad or the design is just bad. It's just like, I didn't really care for them. I didn't care for the Metacam line. There's a lot of other fighting type Pokemon that I would rather get other than Metacam, Metatite, all those Pokemon. Speaking of Metacam, this is Metatite, by the way. I just realized I was calling it Metacam. This is Metatite, this is Metacam. Metacam's okay. Metacam is just okay. Again, didn't care for the line. It's psychic fighting, which is cool, but we get a better one later on. So Metacam has just kind of been okay. Mega Metacam? I like this thing. It's in the lead of okay. I feel like it was drastically needed to like make it viable, but at the same time, we got this thing, we got an even better psychic fighting Mega. Like it's insane. So there's not really a point to have it here. It's not really a point. Riolu. Yeah, Riolu is stupid good. I like Riolu. It's a good. He's a good boy. Lucario, goated. League goated. If you guys don't know, Lucario is my favorite Pokemon. I love Lucario. Lucario is my favorite Pokemon. It's super fast. It hits like a truck. It's kind of a glass cannon, but I love it. Mega Lucario, also goated. Both these goated. Riolu, you know, he's kind of like, he's like trainee, you know. You gotta work him up, you know. He's really frail. But once he evolves, goated. Hands down. Hands fucking down. Croagunk, stupid good. I really like Croagunk. I like the way they did him in the games. I like the personality they gave to Pokemon. I like him in the anime, where in 3rd gen you had like Max. First and 2nd gen you had Misty pulling on Brock's ear, getting away from girls. In 3rd gen you had Max doing it. And now in 4th gen, Croagunk just kind of poison jabs him. Also, can we talk about how Croagunk using poison jab stopped a Draco Meteor in the anime? That's insane. It's not even a Toxicroak yet. He's a Croagunk. And he stopped a meteorite with his bare fucking hands. That's something you hear a Machamp doing. That's something you hear a Golurk doing. That's something you hear a motherfucking Beware doing. Not a fucking Toxicroak. Toxicroak is a monster. He will fuck your shit up. Being a Toxicroak. Toxicroak's goated. I really like Toxicroak. I have rarely used Toxicroak, but I really like the design. I really like what this Pokemon do. Poison fighting, really unique typing. I just wish I used him more. I remember wanting to use Toxicroak as a kid, but I had Soul Silver for my 4th gen game, so I never really got to use him unless like I traded over a Croagunk. But by the time I traded over a Croagunk, I'd already beaten the game. I'm not gonna risk my save file. So Toxicroak, I need to use more, but I still really like him with how little I've used him. That's how much I like this Pokemon. Timber. Timber it's okay. Timber, for what he is okay. Timber is another one of those fighting type Pokemon that's like, you start out with them and like you can make do early game. I don't forget how early you get a Timber. I don't think it's crazy late in the game you get him. I think you get him like in a nice sweet spot where he can still hold his own. He can struggle at times, but he can hold his own. So Timber, really cool mon. Girder, this thing is I don't like this thing as much as Timber. Mainly because like the Pokemon itself is fine. The Pokemon himself hits like a truck and he's scary. But why did they make him look like this? He looks like a clown. Also, fun fact about the Timber line, those like pink ring things around him, those aren't like that, those are veins. Those are his veins protruding out of his body. It's like, holy shit. Like, you take a needle and you do like that, and he's like a fountain of blood. It's, oh my god, man. See a doctor. Conkeldurr, goated. Conkeldurr is so goated. Conkeldurr, one of my favorite fighting types. Conkeldurr hits like a truck. I love his design. I love how he just carries around 2 concrete cinder blocks everywhere it goes. And he picks them up with one hand. Like, they literally look like he picked one up, broke it in half, is like, this is mine now. Like, what are you gonna do? Tell the man no? You wanna tell this motherfucker no? I remember seeing him for the first time when I played 5th gen for the first time in black and white. And I forget the Elite Four's name, but when he sent Conkeldurr out, I was like, it was so horrifying. I love this thing. Throw, not gonna lie, it's kind of trash. Throw and Sock actually are trash. Like, they don't need to exist. You could take these Pokemon completely out of the Pokedex, and nobody would miss them. I'm sorry to say that. Gen 5 has a very weird Pokedex where it has some hits and some misses. This is one of the misses. Scraggy is meh. Scraggy is, you know, he's a little guy. He can't hold his pants up for shit. He's kind of not a good Pokemon to use, like, in general. And I get it, not every Pokemon can be good to use in the start. You have to level them up, make them better. But Scraggy is just one of those ones where it's like, it's rough. It's rough to use a Scraggy for a while there. You got Scrafty. Scrafty's okay. I like Scrafty. He's the hoodlum. He's got a hood. I think they both got hoods, but he like actually uses it. Giving up completely on keeping his pants up. He just lets him drag. But I really like this thing. It's fighting ground, if I'm not mistaken. And he's just a cool Pokemon to use. He's different. If you're playing a Pokemon game and you want to use something different, he's not a bad choice. He's a different Pokemon. I like using him. Minfu is kind of meh. Minfu's kind of meh. Again, it's one of those Pokemon where like he's not a bad choice to get. He's okay, but for a while there, it's rough using him for a while there. Whenever you do pick one up, it doesn't really get good until he evolves. Speaking of evolves, Mean Xiao I also really like. I think Mean Xiao is stupid good. Mean Xiao hits like a truck. It's a glass cannon, but it hits like a fucking truck. It's insane what this thing can do. I loved using this thing. I used this. I had a team of damn near all fighting types whenever I first played 5th gen. I had a Lucario that I wanted, so I transferred one over from Soul Silver to Black and White as a Riolu. I had Mean Xiao, I had Emboar, and I had a Lopunny. And then I used, I think, a Hydreigon. That's 5. And for the 6th one, I think I just used Zekrom. So I had like a team of nearly all fighting types. Might as well have been all fighting types. Lopunny should have been fighting. And then I had 2 dragons. So I really like Mean Xiao. Cobalion, not my favorite of the sword trio, but he's okay. He's I like him better than Medicam. He's okay. He's not a bad Pokemon to get. He hits pretty good. He's steel fighting, you know, he's a good typing, he's a good Pokemon. Just he's not my favorite when it comes to the sword trio. And I say trio, and you're about to find out why. Tracheon, goated. Goated. This thing is so good. This thing, I like Hariyama better. But this thing is so good. I love the design. I love the personality of him in the movie. I love how he's like the meathead of the sword trio. He's just like, I'm here to fuck shit up and take names, and I forgot my fucking pen. He is such a cool Pokemon. I love it. Virizion, I like better than Cobalion. It's in the back stupid good. I really like Virizion. Shiny looks fantastic. Grass fighting, we don't really see a lot of those. I think it's the only one, actually, now I'm looking at the list. I think it's the only grass fighting we have, which makes it a unique typing in general. And it's just, I think Cobalion and Virizion have close stats. Just like, one's more offensive, one's more defensive, and obviously typing differences. But they're good. It's a good Pokemon. I like it. Oh my god. Cobalion, trash. You get Water Horse here, and then you got Water Horse, but with Bad Dragon on his forehead. I don't like this thing. This Pokemon did not need to exist. I don't know why it existed. I don't know why Game Freak decided to put this thing in here. It did not need to exist. Get it out of my game. Bellawetta Popstar form. Kind of in the same boat as Cobalion, but not as much so. But it's a decently statted Pokemon, so it goes in okay. But at the same token, it does not need to exist. We don't need this Meloetta. The original one's just fine as is. We don't need this one. Pancham! I like Pancham. Pancham's a cool little guy. I think I'm gonna put him right here. Pancham's a cool little Pokemon. You have to evolve him with a Dark type, which, you know, not hard to do. And he's like a little scrapper, and then when he finally evolves, it's just like, holy shit. Speaking of, Pangoro is stupid good. Pangoro is a really good Pokemon to have. Again, it's one of those Pokemon where like, I want to use something different. And so Pangoro is a good choice. I don't think a lot of people use Pangoro. I think they stuck with like the better fighting types that were available in X and Y, such as, you know, you got Mega Lucario, like, just given to you. So there's that. You got Hawlucha. I know you're able to get Mean Xiao in there. You can get Medicam if you really wanted to. Scraggy and Scrafty I know are available. Machamp was 100% available. Machamp's available in nearly every Pokemon game. So I never really saw a lot of people using a Pangoro until like later on in X and Y's life when people were like, hey, Pangoro is kind of a good Pokemon. So I think it's a really good choice to get. I like Pangoro. Hawlucha is it's okay. I like Hawlucha. I think the Flying Press is a really cool concept. The first dual type move where it's both fighting and flying. I wish they made it more evident than that. I wish they would do more moves like that where it's both typings. I don't think we need a plethora of them, but a good handful, maybe 4 or 5 moves like that. And I wish they made it more prevalent that it's both fighting and flying, because if you click on the move, it just says a fighting type move, but it hits for both fighting and flying. So I don't really know the logistics of the move. Like if a Pokemon is resistant to fighting but weak to flying, is it now neutral, or is it still super effective because it counts on the flying side? I don't know. I think that it was missed opportunity with Hawlucha. I think they could have give it a pre-evolution, like when he's starting out, and then he evolves something like the Ray Mysterio that we see here. But overall, not a bad Pokemon. I just think that they had a missed opportunity with it, like a lot of things in 6th Gen. Crabrawler is a bit... I can't just fight an okay, I can't just fight a Met either, but I can more so just fight a Met than okay. Crabrawler is an early fighting type you get. The problem with Crabrawler, right? You need to evolve him in the cold. The problem is you are not in the cold until like the very end of the game. So you're stuck with this little Krusty Krab crustacean for a majority of the game. So whenever you finally evolve it, it's like I could have used this thing like 20 levels ago. Like, you can have a level 2 Crabominable. All you gotta do is level it up one time in that fucking cave, and you have a Crabominable. But the problem is, you don't get to that cave till toward the end of the game. So it's just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here? So, for that reason, it's a meh. Crabominable is an Okemon. Crabominable is, again, like a lot of Pokemon that you see, it's one of those Pokemon where you want to use something different, something unique, something weird. And Crabominable is a good choice. I believe it's because Crabrawler is water fighting. If I'm not mistaken, Crabominable is ice fighting. So again, it's a glass cannon for fucking sure. Ice and rock, those two typings can ruin a Pokemon because of how many weaknesses they have. But because of its fighting type advantages, it can hold its own. The problem is it just has so many fucking weaknesses. So it's a good against ice types, at least. I think ice would be neutral to this thing. I think ice resists flying. So if you want something weird, this thing's a good choice. Just if you're playing with it in Gen 7, be prepared to be using a Crabrawler for a long time. Stuffle, the cutest Pokemon to ever exist, isn't stupid good for cuteness. Look at this little guy and tell me you would pick one up and be like, no, I'm not evolving you. You're going to be a teddy bear forever and ever. You're mine now. Beware is also in stupid good, but not in the same vein as Stuffle. Beware is, oh my god, it hits like a truck. The problem with its ability, yes, you resist fighting type moves, but you're now weak to fire. So, it kind of cancels out its normal typing, but then it makes you weak to fire. So this might as well be like grass fighting or ice fighting, something like that, without any of the advantages of being those typings. And there's not really a good advantage of being a normal type either, other than you're immune to ghosts. Normal, either you're a typing that resists normal, or you're a typing that's neutral to normal. That's it. And I get it, normal is supposed to be a neutral typing, but there's so many things that resist it that its stab moves don't really work. And I think it has its signature move is dark for some reason. So there's that. So it's stupid good, but in the back. You know what I mean? Pansimian. It's okay. Pansimian's okay. And I'm more of an Oranguru guy myself. But again, if you wanted something weird, it's not my first choice, but it is an option. I think it's a viable option if you really want to use it. If you like lemurs, if you like Zaboomafoo, there you go. You got a Pansimian. Jingmo-O is okay. And the reason I say that is because it's it also a pseudo-legendary, but because it's a pseudo-legendary, it's a pain to use up until a certain point. Just like a lot of other fighting types, it's like you're struggling until you get it to evolve, but you get it so late in the game that you have to grind if you want to have a fully evolved Pokemon by the end of the game. Hakmo-O is also okay, but in the lead of okay. I didn't use a Hawk Mo-O all that much. I did have a Jang Mo-O. I had a Jang Mo-O and I used a Ko-Mo-O in my Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon playthrough. But the way I did it was I just kind of like, I was so far into the game that like I could just grind up my Hawk Mo-O to get to a Ko-Mo-O and I'm good. Like, I didn't have to use this thing a whole lot. So that's the problem with a lot of pseudo legendaries. You'll get them so late in the game as tiny Pokemon that you don't get to use them to like fully and be like, oh wow, this starting stage is actually really good, or like, oh man, the middle stage is worse than the starting stage until it evolves. So that's the problem with a lot of pseudo legendaries. But in Hawk Mo-O's case, it's okay. I was able to grind him pretty easily, so he's an okay. Ko-Mo-O is goated. Just hands down, Ko-Mo-O is goated. I love Ko-Mo-O. I did not understand the hate this thing got as a pseudo legendary when it was announced. I don't get it. It's a Mayan warrior. It's an Aztec warrior, my guy. It's so fucking cool. Why would you hate on this thing? Why? I want to know why. This is the most accurate Pokemon tier list. Tell me why you would hate on Ko-Mo-O. Give me one good reason. No, it's weak to super weak to fairy. Dragons in general are weak to fairy. Okay, there's like one dragon who isn't weak to fairy, and he's a legendary. All right, so throw that out the window. And even then, if you have to fight a fairy type, it gets poison jab, which has a high chance to poison that said fairy type. So even if he goes down fighting, he can have a chance to poison it, which does residual damage over time. And you can't tell me the design sucks. The design is awesome. He's got the headpiece and everything. I would kill for like the Ko-Mo-O gear, like specifically the shirt that you can get. I want that shirt. I want it so bad. Buzzwole. He's in stupid good. I really like Buzzwole. Buzzwole is one of those Pokemon opposite of the Heracross. Buzzwole is one of those Pokemon that's like, it's good as a bug or a fighting type Pokemon. It's a shame that you get him so late in both Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. But I understand why. He's basically a legendary. It's the Ultra Beasts are a weird gimmick. Some of them are like legendary status, but then some of them are just like pseudo legendary status. So it's a very weird concept, but that doesn't make them bad. It makes it very unique. I just wish that you could get these earlier. I wish that you could catch these Pokemon before the Elite Four, so that way you can be like, oh, before I fought the Elite Four, my journey took me to different dimensions, and I was able to get these Pokemon that I wanted to use to fight the very best of the best. I think that would have been much better, and just made them like lower level. Like instead of being like, I think when you catch them during their 50s, make them like 35 to 40. You know what I mean? Something where like, you don't need to, it's going to be a hell to level them up if you really want to get them overpowered. But as they are right now, they're kind of balanced because they're not high enough to just really decimate the Elite Four. Pheromosa is also stupid good, but as a fighting type, it's kind of toward the back of stupid good. Pheromosa, just like Heracross, screams more bug than fighting to me. So again, it's not a bad Pokemon to get. Everything I said about Buzzwole goes to Pheromosa, just it's a better bug type than fighting to me. See, now we're getting into 8th gen. And 8th gen I don't know a lot of. I don't know a lot of 8th gen mons. That's the problem here. Like I know Surfetch, Phalanx, Zamazenta, both non-shielded and shielded form. Urshifu, you have him. Then it's evolutions. I don't know this thing. I think this is Gloctopus and this is something else. I know this thing nobody uses, and then I know a lot of people use. But I like the design of this thing a lot. But because it's just, I never used it. I feel like this would be a great Pokemon to use, but Sword and Shield is one of those games where like there's no replay value. There's nothing. Like yeah, you have the raid dens, but that's not replay value. That's just trying to go to the raid dens, and I only use them when I want a shiny hunt a legendary. So, like, if you want to shiny hunt legendaries, that's the best game to do it. Sword and Shield, DLC, best game to shiny hunt legendaries in Ultra Beast Sim. But as far as, like, replay value and story, very much mid. Very much mid on all accounts. And then the post-game, dog, is absolutely tedious garbage. This isn't a roast on 8th gen. But just, you gotta know where I'm coming from when it comes to the 8th gen mons. Surfetch, I think is very well deserved. I like how we got the evolution for Farfetch that was leaked in Gen 2, that was scrapped, and they kind of redid him for Gen 8. I like that. I wish he was taller. I wish it was like the ugly duckling turning into the swan. I wish it had gone through that. I know they did that with Duckling, or not Duckling, Ducklet and Swanna in 5th Gen. I understand that, but I like that concept with Farfetch'd. I think that would have been another really cool Pokemon to do that with. But again, I see why they did it like this. He's got the sword and the shield. The leek he's been carrying around, he's cut in half to make a giant rapier and a shield. It's a cool mon. I think it's very well deserved. I think it's about damn time that Farfetch got an evolution. Phalanx is just another stupid good mon. I really like Phalanx. I like his design. I like how it's just a bunch of little Pokemon put together. I just want to know one thing. If I catch a Phalanx, does he count as one Pokemon or 6? Because there's 6 of these little fuckers that are grouped together. So it's one of those things where it's like a Kangaskhan thing. Do I have 6 Pokemon or do I have 7? Because the Kangaskhan has a baby with it. It's the same thing with Phalanx. This isn't a Doduo and Magneton situation where it's just one Pokemon sprouting a bunch of heads or a bunch of Pokemon coming together to create one Pokemon. It's literally just 6 Pokemon in a line. So do I have 6 Pokemon and I have this on my team, or do I have 11? Zamazenta, so I understand that this is more defensive than this Zamazenta. Oh, you guys can't see the designs. I just realized that. This Zamazenta is not as defensive, or this Zamazenta is not as defensive as this one. However, I like, don't get me wrong, they're both stupid good. I really like Zamazenta. I like it better than Zacian. But in terms of like which one I like the design of this one more. I've said that, like, for me, I am a guy who's like less is more. I don't think you need a lot of crazy shit happening to make a good design. And with Zamazenta shield form, it's just there's a lot going on. So, you know, I get it, the main is supposed to make a shield. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. It's very much valid. However, because my taste in design-wise, I really like this form of Zamazenta more. Cupfu. I've heard a lot of people say this is the first legendary Pokemon to evolve. You motherfuckers forgot about Nebby. Like, a lot of you motherfuckers didn't get past the first island in 7th Gen, and it shows. So, for Cupfu is a very interesting lore-wise Pokemon. I think Cupfu is okay. Lore-wise, it's very interesting. You show up, you train it in the martial arts, you get close to it, and then you climb the tower and you're able to evolve it. So I think that's very interesting. I think that Pokemon should do more stuff like that. I just don't think that they should be legendary status. I don't look at Cupfu and doing all that and see him as a legendary Pokemon. I see him as a pseudo-legendary Pokemon, or maybe even a mythic Pokemon that you can get in the event. But as far as, like, you know, a true blue legend, well, I'm calling it mythic and saying, oh, mythics are legendary. Yeah, they're a legendary, but it's very weird. I don't see Cupfu and see a legendary Pokemon. I see Cupfu and I see something I can find on Route 108. It's a very odd Pokemon. So for the Urshifus, I like them both. I think they're both stupid good. This is one of the few 8th Gen hits. I like the water one better than the dark fighting one. I like the hat it's got going on. I like the stance that it holds better. I've always liked water more than dark in terms of typings. So it makes sense that they go here. Their G Maxes, I think, are just stupid good. Now, don't get me wrong, typing wise, way better than their original ones. That's the whole point of G Max. But in terms of just fighting Pokemon, I think that I like the design of these two better, and it's very difficult for me to explain this because, like, the way that I look at the G Maxes, right? G Max is a very, very stupid thing. And that being said, there's some good Pokemon that got G Maxes, but because it's G Max makes my opinion on it just slightly less. Because, like, it's very dumb. But, like, some of the designs are really cool, such as G Max Urshifu here. They have really cool designs. It's just that, as far as the design goes, if I look at these two designs, it's like, hey, we got Urshifu Design A, Urshifu Design B. I'm gonna go with Design A. The glowing eyes and the glowing mouth, as if they're like deities, is super cool. I really like that. I need to emphasize that. I really like these G-Maxes. I think they're cool, but I like the Urshifu standard designs better. And yeah, this is my fighting type Pokemon tier list. Now, as always, this is the most accurate tier list. All other tier lists are in fact wrong. But if you think I missed something here and got a placement wrong or whatever, make sure to let me know down in the comments below. If you want to see any of my other stuff, I have a second channel notification where I post all my non-Pokemon related content over there. If you want to see me stream both Pokemon and non-Pokemon related content, check out my Twitch, twitch.tv/796. And if you miss any of my VODs, be sure to check out my VOD channel, Supernova VODs. Unless you're partnered, Twitch does not like saving your VODs. So anytime I live stream, the VOD gets immediately plucked from Twitch and moved over to my VOD channel. Also have TikTok, Supernova796 over there, where I post literally anything I feel like. I have a Discord, which will also be linked in the description below, where we post memes, expectations for upcoming directs, we hang out, all that good stuff. And I have a Twitter where you can see all my garbage opinions. Everything I just mentioned will be linked down in the description below. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, comment below what you think of the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button, helps the channel, helps yourselves as a whole. I see you guys in the next video. See ya.
Take bars, little man.